Bulletin of the Puerto Rican Academy of History. The opinions of contemporary historians for those of personal witnesses such as Oviedo, Las Casas and the Admiral. Brau faltered in judging the indigenous actions witnessed by Oviedo and the Admiral, according to certain contemporary standards. However, Brau's own original vision is the one that little by little takes shape with the evidence we have presented in this essay. In this sense, it is worth examining Brau's very weak attempt at justification for the supposed need that he claimed to proceed to reject this almost perfect description of the socio-political state of the Ricain at the date of its discovery. Brau merely limited himself to pointing out something that neither contradicts nor destroys in any way, but on the contrary supports this profile of the predominance in the Caribbean of the island of the Ricain, also known as Carib, from whose name comes the gentilic of its natives of Caribs, who were feared for their great power. Brau recognized that the indigenous people of the entire Caribbean Sea region had migrated from South America and that they all spoke the Araguaca language only, with the natural regional variations. He also recognized that they were great warriors and navigators, but that they were not cannibals, except as part of a warrior ritual. In his alleged rejection of ethnologists, Brau demonstrated on the contrary, that the island of the Ricain or Carib could have been the great center of Antillean power, and not that the so-called Caribs came only from the Lesser Antilles, known by the name of Windward Islands in their origin. All the Caribs were migrants from South America, crossing from island to island from the continent until they reached the first Great Antilles, which was the one where, due to its larger size, wide valleys, mighty rivers and large mountains, they managed to modify their precarious nomadic means of life of mere subsistence, and develop a surplus agriculture. However, as in that Great Antilles they had to resist the pressure of the predatory incursions of the nomadic migrants in later waves. Necessity forced them to preserve their old qualities as warriors and navigators, as well as to perfect them. Brau commented, the Caribbean race, spread throughout the vast territory that extends from Ecuador to the Antilles, was distinguished by its warlike and enterprising spirit. These were general qualities that were transformed into Ricain. Such characteristic modifications between one Antilles and another could not be analyzed by the vast majority of the early colonizers. Hence, despite the statements of Columbus, Oviedo, Bernaldez and other writers on the identity of customs, language and rites, the belief that the Windward Islands were inhabited by a race different from the one that populated the islands prospered.